PlayStation may be the clear leader in console sales, but someone else is making more money. Like, a lot more. And Far Cry 6 is out this week, but today we've got some news on Checks Notes, Far Cry 2, and Capcom wants to join the PC Master Race. This is your Daily Fix. When it comes to making money from video games, it's not PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo on top. It's Apple, a company that doesn't even make games or consoles. The Wall Street Journal reports that Apple made $8.5 billion in profits from gaming in 2019. According to the article, this totals more than what Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and Activision made that year combined. Because Apple doesn't make or sell dedicated gaming consoles or have a major game development division, most of these profits come from third-party games on the App Store, where Apple takes a 30% cut from all purchases. Players reportedly spent $45 billion in mobile games on the App Store in the 2020 fiscal year. The top two regions for spending were China and the US. But going forward, Apple may see less revenue coming in from China, as the Chinese government recently set a 3-hour limit a week for kids playing online games. The top 1% of spenders made up over 64% of sales on the App Store, spending about $2,694 each year. Those are those whales you've heard so much about. The numbers the journal used come to light as part of the recent antitrust trial between Apple and Epic, the developer of Fortnite. However, Apple says the numbers discussed were flawed and too high. One thing is clear: microtransactions, macro profits. We're just days away from the launch of Far Cry 6. Yeah! But first, looking back into the series' past, Ubisoft has confirmed a long-held fan theory about the villain of Far Cry 2, the Jackal, and how he connects to the original Far Cry story. While talking to IGN for the latest Inside Stories documentary, Far Cry 2's creative director Clint Hocking said, quote, "The Jackal is actually supposed to be Jack Carver from the original Far Cry." He explained, "Jack Carver in the original Far Cry was this shifty, smuggler, gunrunner kind of crook. The idea was the Jackal is just him, 10 years later or something, after he's seen whatever he saw on this island during the events of Far Cry. Maybe it was drug-induced, maybe it's post-traumatic stress disorder, or maybe it's real, but the idea is, a decade later, he has leveled up his smuggling game and he's gotten embroiled in this conflict." For over a decade, fans of Far Cry have theorized that the Jackal is Jack Carver. The theory stems from two things. The first is that the Jackal's background is similar to that of Jack Carver's. Both characters served in the US Navy, and both had an illegal firearms trading operation. The second, more conclusive evidence is that the texture files for the Jackal are all named Jack Carver. Files such as Jack Carver _ shoes and Jack Carver _ hair make it fairly clear that at some point in development, Ubisoft referred to the Jackal as Jack Carver. And also, from Jack to Jackal isn't too far a stroll. Now, despite all this, there's no concrete evidence within the events or world of Far Cry 2 that confirm the theory. Hawking's comment on the Jackal is the first time Ubisoft has tried to establish the link between the two characters. So, if you've been arguing since 2008 that the Jackal is Jack Carver, well, it seems like you were absolutely right, and now you have the proof. Now, myself, I got into this series with Far Cry 3, so I don't have a horse in this race. I am, however, very excited to play Far Cry 6 very soon. Yeah. And finally today, Capcom is planning on making PC its main platform in the coming years. As reported by VGC, Capcom COO Haruhiro Tsujimoto recently told Nikkei that the success of its PC software has been driving global sales, and that he thinks, quote, "PCs will be the next big thing after smartphones." The personal computer will be the next big thing. Tsujimoto said, "We have recently stated that we will make the PC our main platform. At this year's Tokyo Game Show, we focused on exhibiting the PC version of Monster Hunter Rise, and I think people will be able to experience the change in our approach." He continues, "The pandemic is changing the way people look at PCs. Smartphones are convenient, but their screens are small and their touch panels are difficult to operate, so they are not suitable for homeworking or school classes. I think PCs will be the next big thing after smartphones." He also revealed that this shift of focus towards PC is in response to the increase in digital sales of legacy titles like Resident Evil 7, which he says still sells over 1 million copies a year. The latest Resident Evil, Village, did set a franchise record concurrent users on Steam earlier this year with over 100,000 players at the time. Tsujimoto continued, "We will expand our business for dedicated game consoles, which has been the mainstream up to now, but PC will be the mainstream in the future. Next year or the year after, we want to equalize the ratio of sales to PCs and dedicated consoles." Currently a Nintendo Switch exclusive, Monster Hunter Rise lands on PC on January 13th. I'm Daemon, and that's your Daily Fix for October 4th. Did you know today is the 10th anniversary of Dark Souls? Well, now you do. Nobody's really talking about it, but it's true. For all your gaming news, stay tuned to IGN.